Sports Scene, Hampton Road's premier interview show with Greg Bicouvaris, each Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11.
And you look at that, 4-4 at home, which is just average, 4-3-1 on the road. I mean, you're not going to win any games like that. They were not the same team after they beat the Packers, yet the Packers were a totally different team.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM.
Mark your calendar for May 31st to June 3rd as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy authentic Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature cultural and food event on the peninsula. Located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Opa!
From Chesapeake, Virginia, the Lighthouse 100.1 presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
Sports Scene, midweek online and Saturday on the radio from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on 100.1 FM, 1010 a.m. and tunein.com by typing WPMH. Sports Scene is an interview show, and also watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Greg Bicouvaris along with Joe Daniel. Glad you're with us. Tell your friends about gjbtv.com and click the YouTube link on the homepage for archived audio and video. Twitter @GregBic, that's GregBic, and you can see the rest of my Twitter handles on gjbtv.com in the contact section. Thank you to our military. Guest lineup presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Sponsors on gjbtv.com, marketplace sponsors in Hampton Roads, onlinemall.com. Phone line presented by newportnewsgreekfestival.org. The show is presented by HRSMHOF.com with the big ceremony May the 12th. Glad to be back with a new episode. Glad to be back with Joe Daniel. Kudos to Will Fan for winning the 2018 Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament. You can see it on YouTube, the highlights and interview, by going to gjbtv.com, hitting the YouTube link. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene weekly, and we love our regulars, newcomers, and tourists. Stay tuned.
Virginia Beach, make it the summer to remember. Get ready for the Summer Lights Tour with Jeremy Camp.
You call me out.
Matthew West.
I'm going all in.
And Ren Collective.
He's
with special guest Corinne Hawthorne. July 19th, 7 p.m. at Rock Church in Virginia Beach. Tickets are on sale now online at summerlightstour.com. That's summerlightstour.com. The Summer Lights Tour, presented by Compassion International.
The Shop with Praise store has a copy of How Sweet the Sound, a hardbound collection of amazing stories from George Beverly Shea. Pull up a chair and feast on these grace-filled reflections from the renowned gospel singer as he shares warm memories of some of his most beloved hymns and gospel songs. Visit the website, thewordandpraise.org, and click on the discount shopping banner or call 488-1010 for more information about how to shop with praise.
Are you searching for a genuine connection with God and others? Then join Virginia Beach United Methodist this week for worship, life groups, holy yoga, or one of the many other activities we offer every week in a warm and friendly environment. We are located at 212 19th Street in Virginia Beach with modern services at 9:30 a.m. and traditional services at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. For more information, please visit our website at vbumc.org or call 757-428-7727.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
Welcome back to Sports Scene right here on 1010 AM, 100.1 FM, The Lighthouse. TuneIn.com, type in WPMH in the search bar to listen. Sports Scene is presented by CP Shuckers, a locals tradition on Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue. Delicious food, great appetizers, steak bites, sandwiches, all the NBA games on TV, the postseason, NHL postseason, Major League Baseball. Go by and see Matt and Mark and the great staff at CP Shuckers. Delicious food in Virginia Beach. We've had him on Sports Scene. I've been a stage manager in the past for Home Team Sports, where he made a name for himself after basketball. He's been in the restaurant business. He played for Kentucky, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Washington Bullets. Let's welcome back Kevin Grevey. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing great, Greg. Thanks.
Very good. I guess let's start off with your former teammate, Phil Chenier. That was quite an honor for him to be having his banner up at the arena.
That's exactly right. About a month ago, we had quite a celebration on behalf of Phil. It was certainly well-deserving. He was a great player, a terrific person, had a long career there, both as a player, a broadcaster, and now he's working in the front office. So, he's up there with Elvin Hayes and Gus Johnson, Wes Unseld, and be up there forever. I was able to spend time with his family, and a lot of the former players came back to celebrate Phil's great honor. So number 45 is hanging from the rafters.
I'm not too much into breaking news, but I did tell you the breaking news before it happened about Phil not being an analyst this year full-time with the Wizards. I think it's been a big loss to the television. I think Phil was excellent, just like you are in TV. I know he likes maybe the reduced role, but it took some time to get used to not seeing Phil there doing the games on TV.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to stomach, because Phil, of course, I'm biased. He's a very good friend. I played with him for many years with the Bullets and on that championship team. Phil was hurt, but very much a part of the team. And you're right. Steve Buckhands, Phil were quite a team for a number of years, and it is hard to get used to. Every time I turn on a Wizard game, I expect to see him, and he's not there.
Talking to Kevin Grevey, former great Kentucky Wildcat. Well, let's talk about the Wizards this past season. Still, Kevin, not 50 wins. I know that's kind of a measuring stick. They were 8th place, taking on Toronto. And, of course, Wall was hurt most of the year. But regardless, it seems like here we go again in the postseason, kind of, I don't want to say the word hurting, but kind of limping into the postseason.
Well, you're right. I mean, their injuries certainly didn't help. They were able to weather John Wall's loss quite well initially, but over time, players will be who they are. And John Wall's a superstar. He makes everybody better. He's a dynamic player in the open court, and gets the ball to the right people, and so on and so forth. But guys got to step up and play off of him. I think they need to play a little faster. They got to really get out and let their defense create some turnovers, steals, and so on. And, I expect a little more from Bradley Beal, who towards the end of the season struggled. He had just 19 in his first game in the playoffs. But I think they'll, in general, compete against Toronto, as we see. But, how far can they go with a bench that really has struggled here in the playoffs against Toronto? I'm not sure.
Yeah, starting off on the road is never easy. Do you like those long gaps, Kevin? That can be a real big distraction, really, on the road.
Actually, I do. As a player, it's a great time to bond. You're spending, instead of spending time running around when you're at home, you go to practice. Then you got free time. You go with your family to this and that. I think there's always a lot more distractions at home than there is on the road. And I think coaches, general managers would rather keep their teams in these long gaps on the road so that they can bond and spend time together and talk things out. And you watch film together, and you hang out together. You have dinner together. You're playing cards in a room together. I mean, let's face it, it's a team game, and anything that you can gather off the court together as a group is important. And I thought we made a lot of good team meetings together when I was with the Bullets on the road. When I was at home, everybody wants your attention. People want tickets. And I just think it's easier to be on the road, and I think that's why they keep them there.
Very good. Kevin, what is it? Was it when you guys were playing in your championship era? It's been that long, of course, since the the Wizards Bullets have made the championship run way back in the late 70s. Was the defense better back then? Because it seems like every time you talk about the NBA now, it's about the issues of defense, players coming off the bench. I don't remember that being an issue as much back in your day.
Well, the game has totally changed. Going back in early 1980 when the three-point shot came in, it took a while for coaches and players to adapt to it. But that is the most dramatic change since the peach basket was nailed up on the backboard. I mean, it'd be like getting 7 points for a field goal. Well, everybody be hitting field goals in football. It's just unbelievable the change that it's made. And then the next big change was the no hand checking. So it's a lot harder to play defense when you can't make hand contact with a player, and it allows skilled players who in my day we would just take them out. A little 6-foot guard driving the basket, he would get hammered. Today you can't do that because there's a flagrant foul, and any hard foul is liable to be in a stiff fine and a penalty on that player and team. So skilled players today now have a huge advantage. 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" guard was pretty small in my day. Now they're more important than 7-footers that dunk. I mean, a three-point shot's a lot better than a Shaq dunk or a Wilt Chamberlain dunk. So I, as a coach, would want to take 40, 50 threes a game, spread the court out, have no post player, play small, and that's what teams are starting to do. You look at Villanova. They didn't have a center. They were all 5 guys out on the perimeter, driving, kicking until you got a good look three, and if you could get a layup, a coach will take a layup. But if it's a contested layup, he'd rather kick out to a wide-open three. That's unheard of in my day. I mean, you didn't take a 23, 24-footer unless you had to because there wasn't a three-point line. You tried to get as close as you could get. So this game doesn't even resemble the game that I played.
Right. The kicking out of the three is a great point. You see that even with the Cavaliers and Golden State and these elite teams that will have a possibility of a shot less than 15 feet, but they'll kick it out on the baseline for a three. As far as the Wizards are concerned, you see the depth they've got with Scott, and Gortat and Keefe and all Oubre. I think Oubre now has to elevate his game to another level. A little bit too passive, in my opinion. He's a great shooter. I know he's pretty good on defense. He's high energy. But look at Westbrook. Look at him for OKC. That's the measuring stick I'm going to look at for energy in the NBA. Kobe was like that when you were there as a scout. There's very few elite players. I'm just shocked sometimes, Kevin, when it's the playoffs and I don't see the fire in these kids' eyes.
Yeah, you have to elevate your play. You have to eliminate all distractions, and you got to play like there's no tomorrow. Problem is, a lot of players think they're playing hard, but they don't really know if they're playing hard. I mean, coaches would always show film and show how we would make transition, how we would get down on defense, and where the help defense is. You got to pay attention every second. You got to play alert, smart, and you got to play hard. Playing hard is like a skill today. I mean, it was understood you played hard back in my day. Now, because of the skill and because of the length and athleticism, guys play to their athleticism and don't always play to their energy. And that can be a problem on a team. Now, if you're like Golden State, they're athletic, they're long, and they play hard. And they can take advantage of the three. They're an underrated defensive team, and everybody's trying to emulate them. And like college basketball, everybody's going to try to emulate the better teams. Villanova, they're 2 out of 3 championships. Why do they win championships? Because they play hard, smart, they have a system. They take advantage of the three-point shot. They're a very good defensive team, great rebounding team. Well, Wizards are none of those, really. They're trying to get there. They have some outstanding pieces, as you just mentioned, and a pretty good bench, but they got to find what wins basketball games. And you mentioned Westbrook. I mean, there's probably nobody that I would pay other than maybe see Westbrook play. He's unbelievable. Great energy, as you mentioned, unbelievable skill. The triple doubles. I mean, everybody talked about it last year, and he did it again this year, and it's kind of a misnomer. However, he is very much a ball-dominant guard. That ball sticks in his hand quite a bit, and he's sometimes, instead of passing it early, he'll keep it in his hand so he can get the assist. Instead of maybe leaking out, he'll go back and get a rebound that a big man could get. Some of that is selfish, and some of that hurts a team. As I mentioned, the game is changing, and we're getting away from the Kobe Bryants and the Westbrooks and the Dr. J, people who have the ball all the time in their hand.
Right.
It's hard to play with a guy like Westbrook, and it was very hard for teams later in players later in their careers play with Kobe. You're seeing people get away from that. You didn't see the really great teams, Golden State. They don't have a ball-dominant guard. So I think you got to get away from that kind of stuff. John Wall, we got to be careful. That ball sticking in his hands a little too much.
Right, and the Bullets even had it back in the day after you were gone with Malone. You know, he was the type A, shooting all the time, and I think they started going downhill. I'm not knocking him, but he had the ball in his hands way too much, and you're exactly right. You know, you look at George, and you look at Westbrook, and you look at Melo. Those are three type A personalities who are used to having the ball all the time, but it's been an issue no matter what decade you're talking about.
Well, you're exactly right, Greg. I think the best teams are teams who have great balance. You just can't rely on one guy, two guys, three guys. It's got to be a collective group. Everybody believing in one another, having one another's back, having good chemistry, being able to share that ball, move that ball around. It's so hard to defend a team that is unselfish. And when I say just, you're just not around the perimeter playing hot potato, you've got to have ball cuts. Guys got to fly through that lane with their hands up, ready to catch and lay it in. If they don't get it, then they come back out and replace a perimeter player, set a back pick. Always, there's a lot of motion without the ball. Guys will move if they know they might get it, but if you've got a guard who's looking to go one-on-one or just a high pick and roll, the other guys are going to stand around. They're not going to move. You can't get players to make cuts and to move without the ball if there's no reward. And the reward is those passes, those backdoor cuts when you get a layup or when you set a good pick and your teammate rolls off of it, he gets the ball and scores. Then you're going to see more of that. It's a very hard thing for coaches to get players to play the right way. But it's playoff time. They got to set what it is that you do best, and everybody's got to be on the same page.
You're right. And I'm not knocking Jeff Malone because he did have a long career in the NBA, but you can't hold the ball all the time. And I've been a lifelong Bullets and Wizards fan, and it just, you look at one more thing about the Bullets and the Wizards, we'll move on. 3 years ago, the Wizards almost swept, Toronto in workmanlike fashion. These two teams pretty much have the same core of players, minus Nene and a few other guys, but it just doesn't seem like here we are in the postseason when you play an 8th place team as the Wizards barely getting in the postseason. That's not good either. I'm not sure if the Wizards have evolved at all the last 3 years.
Yeah, they're unfortunately, they're a little more of a half-court team. You have Gortat that can't stretch out and make a three, and he has a hard time guarding out there. So Toronto can play small ball, take advantage of that, and do some of the things we were talking here earlier in the conversation, where they can play a little faster. They get to the free throw line more. They make better three-point. They have better three-point looks. Maybe the Wizards are a little stronger, a little more powerful in a half-court set, but I'd much rather shoot a high percentage from three than a high percentage from two.
All right, we're going to take a short break, come back more with Kevin Grevey, former Milwaukee Buck, Washington Bullets, and, of course, Kentucky Wildcats after these messages on Sports Scene.
A decade ago, 10th Avenue North released a project that spoke to a new generation of Christian music fans. Now, for one night only, 10th Avenue North revisits the album that started it all. 10th Avenue North and the Over and Underneath 10th Anniversary Tour. Playing through the entire Over and Underneath album. Plus many of the hits you know and love. With special guests, We Are Messengers. 10th Avenue North and the 10th Anniversary Over and Underneath Tour with special guests We Are Messengers. Friday, May 4th, 7 p.m. at the brand new Hub 757 in Suffolk, Virginia. Tickets are on sale now and are available online at 10thavenuenorth.com/tour. Get your tickets now.
Hello, this is Jerry Qualls. For 35 years, I hosted a daily radio program called Heart to Heart, where I, as a marriage and family counselor, spoke to listeners on a variety of topics including marriage, pre-marriage, depression, anger, fear, and many other issues. I'm still counseling and can now offer counseling services by FaceTime, Skype, Google, and over the phone. For more information or to schedule an appointment, the phone number is 757-679-6360.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene, presented by Sakura Japanese Restaurant, Sushi Bar, Takeout, Dine-In. We deliver through OrderUp.com. Give them a call at 410-4577. They're at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake, right by Walmart. Go by and see Jasmine and the wonderful, wonderful staff. Talking to Kevin Grevey. Kevin, a trifecta. Kentucky made the NCAA tournament. The Wizards made the playoffs, and so did the Milwaukee Bucks. How about that?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we all have our favorite teams for sure, but having played at Kentucky, I was real happy to see Coach Cal get that team turned around, particularly in the SEC tournament this year. The SEC was very strong. They struggled in the regular season, but they won 9 in a row until they were eliminated by Kansas State. The Bucks, anytime the Bucks and the Wizards play, it's tough for me. However, I always rooted for the Wizards. I spent 8 years. That's where I won my championship. But I do have a soft spot for the Milwaukee Bucks. They're fun to watch. Mm-hmm. You know, the Greek Freak is an incredible team player and is a budding all-star or superstar, I think, in the next year or two.
It's still to be determined with the Bucks. I mean, you got a perfect time to play the Celtics without two of their elite players, and you think the Bucks could take advantage of that. I'm not sure quite if the Greek Freak's ready to just control all of that fate. You know, interim coach and a lot of distractions this year, injuries, of course. They lost Kidd. But I think, like you said, within a year or two, getting a little bit more stronger, a little bit more savvy to the NBA game, he will be there.
You're right. This is great experience for them. The Greek Freak is not as good a shooter as he needs to be to take it to that next level. I mean, there's nobody as long and athletic as him. He's just a marvel to watch. He's just so smooth and graceful and does so many incredible things. But teams are backing off on him, and he's going to have to be able to stretch the floor a little better with his jump shot, and it's improving. But until that happens, I don't see them eliminating the Boston Celtics, even without their two best players, Kyrie Irving and Hayward out. Brad Stevens is just a terrific coach. They have a lot of guys that can step right in there and play, and I'm not sure Boston will go very far. That remains to be seen, but those are that's a compelling playoff matchup for sure to watch.
I said this 5 years ago about Brad Stevens. Can you imagine, was you played against this coach, Tommy Heinsohn, how much advice Heinsohn has probably sat down with Stevens one-on-one trying to give him advice. But I remember you and the Celtics had some great rivalries there with, Silas and Don Nelson and, JoJo White. So Heinsohn does know what he's talking about, too.
Well, he sure does. I mean, there's some serious greats there. I'm playing in the Boston Garden when I was with the Bullets, and you would see Sam Jones, John Havlicek on the sideline. You'd see Red Auerbach up in the stands, and all these greats. And it was like, oh my gosh, it doesn't get any better than this. As a kid, watching the Celtics and playing in Boston Garden, you always wanted to play your best in New York under the break lights at Madison Square Garden, and you want to do it at the Boston Garden. Of course, there's 82 games, and it's hard to get up for every single game, but you felt like you were walking into history when you entered the buildings of those two storied venues, and to be able to play there was just a dream come true.
Right, Larry Bird played with Dave Cowens Bird's rookie year, but you talk about Cowens and Havlicek and JoJo White and Silas and Nelson. That group of Celtics didn't get the exposure maybe Bird, McHale, Parrish did, but I'd put JoJo White and Silas and and Cowens and Havlicek up against anybody.
Oh, that's true. Back then there were when I came into the NBA in 1976, I was drafted by the Bullets. There were 18 teams in the league. And at one time, there were just 8 teams in the NBA. When I was in junior high school and high school growing up in Ohio, one of the NBA teams was the Cincinnati Royals. And there were only 8 teams in the league when I was really young. And sometimes they would have double headers. So half the NBA would be playing that night in Cincinnati. And so the world's best, and back then there were 10, 12-man rosters. There were 100 NBA players. Today there's about 700 now with 15-man rosters, 2-way contracts. Of course, players can play in the G League and the minor league and go to Europe. There's more opportunities. So back then there wasn't. Those were huge games to watch these players play. Bill Russell, he could play in today's game. Havlicek could. JoJo White could. Those players were so many years ahead of themselves, 20, 30, 50 years. Pistol Pete, he would still star in today's game. The stretch, the way he could shoot those deep shots, those were 3, not 2. And his ball handling ability, passing ability. I got to play against some great players, no question about it, in the 70s and the 80s. This game is a wonderful game to watch, but there were some players that are a lot better than the ones playing today. My era had some unbelievable players that no one will ever really know about, just because we didn't have the media exposure back then.
Right, Gervin, Gilmore, Dave Cowens. I mean, you can go on and on and on. I mean, World Be Free. I mean, just it was unbelievable the types of personalities that you played against. One thing that's troubling, with a team in the postseason is the Spurs, and the whole Kawhi Leonard thing is not being involved with the team. I think it's affected Pop's personality even more. They're struggling against Golden State. They're not the same team, and that has been a huge distraction all year. If you don't want to play for the team, obviously move on.
Yeah. The San Antonio Spurs have sort of been the standard bearer how to build and run a franchise. They integrated the European players quicker and better than any other team in the NBA. They've drafted extremely well, and they've been able to, change some of the parts. They're still quite old. Tony Parker's out there trying to play, Ginobili, Paul Gasol. These are guys in their late 30s. And they're struggling a little bit, and they need that infusion of youth that Leonard could give them. He's not there. He's not even on the bench. I mean, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on, but there's something they're not telling us or we're not aware of. Leonard could be quite upset with maybe his contract or what's happening there. It usually comes down to money and ego when you hear about things like this. And I think he wants to be free of the Spurs. and there'll be a lot of takers if that is truly the case.
Right. I mean, his attitude shows, too, because you can tell when he is on the bench, he doesn't look happy. But to me, you know, when you look at one of the best all-time greats, Kareem, when he left the Bucks and went to the Lakers, I mean, good things can happen with a change. Shaquille O'Neal, he won championships. He played with several teams, too, Orlando, the Celtics, you know, the Lakers. I mean, you'd like to stick with one team or two like you did, but it's not always easy for players today.
No, it isn't. You know, it's different with the free agency. There's more opportunities. I think in Leonard's case, he will be traded and let loose. Now you got to wonder: is he truly hurt? I mean, is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be able? So, unless he passes a physical, people are have that big concern. But there's a way to get free of the Spurs, and the Spurs will certainly get something for him. They'll have to do that before he becomes a free agent. They'll have nothing to show for it.
Kevin, tell us what you're doing today.
Well, I'm a scout for the Lakers. I have been a scout since Mitch Kupchak took the job from Jerry West. When Jerry moved to Memphis, we're talking 18 years ago. And so it's been a blessing to be in the basketball business. I was in the restaurant business, as you know, Greg. You were so generous and would come to my restaurant, Grevey's in Falls Church, Virginia, but I closed that in December. So I'm spending most of my time scouting. You know, I was in your neighborhood last week in Portsmouth for the PIT, which was exciting. 64 invited seniors. Chicago Combine will be coming up May 15th. And then we'll start working out players in our facility in L.A. So I'm excited about the draft. I think it's going to be a very good draft, a deep draft. A lot more centers, big men in the draft than maybe years past. But we have Cleveland's pick, which resulted in the 25th pick in the first round, and we have Denver's pick, which resulted in the 51st pick. So hopefully the Lakers have done very well in the draft in previous years. I hope we maintain that excellence. It's very important to, we've been building through the draft. The Lakers have over the last 6 years. Haven't been in the playoffs in some time. We want to change that next year.
And Mitch Kupchak, your former teammate, of course, with the Lakers, too. He was a great general manager, played, of course, for the Bullets, too. And Dean Smith in North Carolina, played with Phil Ford. And of course, Tommy Lagarde. He's back in his roots with Charlotte.
Really happy for him. It seems to be a perfect fit for Mitch. Mitch played at North Carolina. That's where his basketball journey started, and now that's where it'll probably end. So he was able, I think he was pretty much the first choice of Michael Jordan, who owns the team in Charlotte, and Michael interviewed a lot of candidates, but Mitch got the job. So as a good friend, I'm just so pleased to see him back in the business. He's a terrific person, terrific GM, and he has his challenges, but every GM does who's not in the playoffs, so I'm sure he'll get it turned around.
And I want to leave our last question for the business people out there. You owned a restaurant for several decades. My grandfather did as well, several restaurants. I'm a foodie. I love the Food Network. You see shows like Bar Rescue, where the guy comes in and totally changes the restaurant, changes the attitude. And it's kind of sad. I mean, there's a Mexican restaurant not too far from where I lived at, just opened up. Less than 6 months, the doors are closed. Is it the game plan? Do they realize the cost of just what it is to cost to open the door before the food, the expenses, the power bill, the lights, ordering food, ordering beverages, ordering alcohol, getting employees on time? I mean, that's a full-time job alone, and credit to you for doing it for so many years.
Oh, thank you very much, Greg. As an independent, it's a lot harder. Independents who just own one or two restaurants, competing against these large, huge chains, we have a disadvantage. You pay more rent, usually get inferior space. You don't have the buying power. You don't have the marketing that some of these large chains who do a lot of advertising do. And so it puts you a little bit at a disadvantage. But if you can find the right location and have a good business model and keep it simple, and it really comes down to people. You have great people who make that customer that walk in the door to really feel welcome. You have to keep it, the environment fresh and clean and bright and upbeat, and then stay with your theme. But you also have to change, the micro beers and all the food trends. You can't be everything to everybody. But Grevey's was an American-style restaurant with a vibrant sports bar, and I was there. And if there was a problem, I had to fix it right away. And I was kind of the good cop. My wife was the bad cop, and we worked well together as a team and had it for 37 years. But it's tough, as you said, Greg, but it's also very rewarding to have your own business, be a part of the community. And when you have a successful business, it's very exciting. It was one of the more exciting days of my life when I opened that restaurant. I was actually making money, something other than shooting a jump shot. I realized, hey, I can do this. And I just put a lot of the things that I learned as a player and as an athlete and my journey, I applied that into my business. And we were very fortunate to be successful here.
Right. Life is, sports is fun, but the key is to evolve from sports, and you definitely did that. Kevin, all the best to you and your family for the rest of 2018. Hope to talk to you soon. I saw a couple Wizards games in person this year. I bleed red, white, and blue, and until they win a championship, you guys still are the king of Washington.
I'm staying with them all the way through. I love these my home team here, the Wizards, and I sure hope they're able to advance here past Toronto, but it's going to be tough. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Kevin Grevey right there on Sports Scene on 100.1 FM, 1010 AM, tunein.com, type in WPMH. All presented by our good friends at Panera. All items 100% clean. They deliver, catering. Take advantage of the rapid pickup options, soups, sandwiches, salads, bagels, breads, smoothies, as well cookies, desserts, refreshing beverages. Go by and see Brian and the great staff. For more, go to PaneraBread.com. Foods that should be. Call them at 483-3670. Visit them in North Suffolk at 6255 College Drive today.
The Church of God in Christ Incorporated, International Youth Department, East Region Youth Explosion presents the 20th Anniversary Celebration Kingdom Concert featuring the Judah Band, Stella Award nominee Miss Ruth LaAntra, and comedian Terrell McCoy.
Good with 16. You want to see Jesus. You that saved.
April 7th, 7 p.m. at the Portsmouth Renaissance Hotel and Conference Center, 425 Water Street in Portsmouth. Also featuring the IYD East Region Youth Choir, Elder Michael Hunt, Minister Donnell Williams, The New Wave, Miss Tiffany Willis, and the Olds Group. Concert tickets are $15 in advance and $20 beginning April 1st. Tickets available at www.iydeastregion.org and at eventbrite.com. It's part of the 20th Anniversary Celebration International Youth Department East Region Youth Rally and Explosion. For more information on conference activities and events, go to iydeastregion.org.
Now this is the confidence that we have in Him, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. Christians from all over Hampton Roads will gather on the South Side Thursday, May 3rd for the National Day of Prayer. Hampton, Newport News, Yorktown, Poquoson, Portsmouth, Norfolk, Gloucester, Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, Suffolk, and Chesapeake join the National Day of Prayer of Tidewater, Virginia at Rock Church in Virginia Beach Thursday, May 3rd from 7:30 to 9 p.m. This is an opportunity for Christians from all denominations to unite in one accord to pray for this nation. And if you need prayer, healing, or salvation, come and be blessed by God. Join the National Day of Prayer of Tidewater, Virginia, Thursday, May 3rd, 7:30 to 9 p.m. at Rock Church, 640 Kempsville Road, Virginia Beach, for the National Day of Prayer. For more information, call 508-3827.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And highlights, gjbtv.com. Click the YouTube link for archive shows. Sports Scene is online on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube during the week, 24/7 online. On the radio Saturday from 10 to 11 on the Lighthouse, 100.1 FM, 1010 AM. TuneIn.com. Type in WPMH. Tell your friends. Subscribe on YouTube at gjbtv.com as well. And, of course, be a favorite on TuneIn on Sports Scene Saturday morning from 10 to 11. NBA playoffs going on, NHL playoffs. Tides are in full swing. We look forward to the Tides interviews throughout the summer. Question of the day presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News to our producer, Joe Daniel, who just got back from Europe. Congratulations, Joe Daniel. How do you feel before you take a trip or check on something at work or at home and everything is in place, only to find out when you're gone, several errors happen personally and in business both? How do you handle it?
You kind of just have to let it go. You do the best that you can. You try to prepare the best that you can. But if mistakes are made, I mean, at least you did what you were supposed to. Oftentimes, there's a lack of communication or a breakdown as to, okay, what exactly does this person do? They kind of have an idea of what you do, but they don't really know how you do what you do. And so because there is that breakdown, sometimes mistakes happen, and mistakes happen, you kind of just have to let it go, learn from it, try to do a better job communicating, and do a step-by-step process. Take this file, send this email this way. But for the most part, I'm a pretty lax guy in and of itself, so I try to do the best that I can, but sometimes mistakes happen. You just got to let it go and learn.
Yep. Life is about moving on. Always fresh episodes of Sports Scene, of course, on YouTube first, and Twitter and Facebook, then on the radio as well. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, folks. We invite you to use it. Browse, shop, visit, bookmark it. GJBTV.com and HRSMHOF.com for the big Hall of Fame coming up on May 12th. That's Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame. Of course, our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News presenting JD's segment, lunch, dinner, apps, great mozzarella sticks, salads, all the great wings, specials, the rollout menu, tenders, mac, excellent beverages, desserts, great place to have a birthday party, wings, beer, sports. Go by and see Paul and the great staff at 12150 Jefferson Avenue in Newport News. You can't miss it. The biggest Buffalo Wild Wings in the area on the peninsula, 249-3999, lunch, dinner, late night. Great place for wings and much more. Buffalo Wild Wings. Watch the NBA playoffs, NHL, and Major League Baseball.
Mark your calendar for May 31st to June 3rd as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy authentic Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature cultural and food event on the peninsula. Located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Virginia Beach, make it the summer to remember. Get ready for the Summer Lights Tour with Jeremy Camp,
You call me out,
Matthew West,
I'm going all in.
and Ren Collective. With special guest Corinne Hawthorne. July 19th, 7 p.m. at Rock Church in Virginia Beach. Tickets are on sale now online at SummerLightsTour.com. That's SummerLightsTour.com. The Summer Lights Tour, presented by Compassion International.
There's no doubt about it. There's no better feeling than being able to make someone's dream come true. Project 143 gives orphans the opportunity to leave their orphanage and visit an American host family. That could be your family. Each child's story and picture and more about hosting over Christmas or for a few weeks during the summer is available online at p143.org. There are 143 million orphans worldwide who need you. Consider hosting an orphan for a few weeks this year with Project 143. Find out more at p143.org.
Sports and Imports, located at 1322 Transylvania Avenue in Chesapeake. Sports and Imports specializes in all European models without the European price. ASE certified and Bosch certified. Don't waste time and money guessing what the problem is. Sports and Imports can pinpoint the problem and fix it the first time. Make an appointment today. Financing is available. Visit sportsandimports.net or call 545-9394.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. I want to thank our good friends at Outback in Kempsville, Virginia Beach. Go by and see Mike and the great staff. Enjoy the nice, spacious, nice dining area, the bar, lunch and dinner, daily burgers, steaks, soups, salads, appetizers, pasta, chicken, ribs, chops, desserts, beverages, dine-in or carry-out. Go by and see Mike and the great staff at 1255 Fordham Drive. Give them a call at 523-4832 for the best Outback Steakhouse in Virginia, the one in Virginia Beach on Fordham Drive. We've had him on Sports Scene several times. He's part of the Norfolk Greek Festival, the Newport News Greek Festival. There's award-winning olive oil all over the country. Worldwide name brand, Laconico. Let's welcome Dinos Pierrakos. How are you, my friend?
How are you, Greg? How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Very good. Christos Anesti.
Christos Anesti.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's talk about your business. It's really evolved from the time with the family coming from Europe.
Yes, it has evolved. We have grown. We have been recognized as one of the world's most awarded and best olive oil producers. Just this past week, we were honored with the gold medal in Greece for this year's harvest. And next week, we have our biggest competition to come for this year, which is in New York, the largest competition in the world, which takes place for the best extra virgin olive oils. And we look to take the gold and bring it home as well.
Do you have time to do a lot of these shows, or how do you evolve the time and delegate the time between going to festivals and just day-to-day operations in Northern Virginia?
Well, day-to-day, we mainly work out of the warehouse where we fulfill the orders for existing stores. On the weekends is where we do a lot of the hustle, bustle, running around, do a lot of the promotion. And that's how we go about for the main part, trying to balance everything out. So we're looking forward to our upcoming events for this year at the Norfolk and Newport News Greek festivals, and we're just really excited. We have an amazing year coming our way.
Coming right up in May in a few weeks is the Norfolk Greek Festival. It really is a truly special event.
Yes, amazing Greek food, and of course we will be there presenting our award-winning extra virgin olive oil, which when you're able to taste, for those who have already tasted and those who haven't, when you do taste it, you'll see why it tastes so different than the majority of the extra virgins out there. Very clean, very fruity. You actually taste what you're supposed to taste: a nice clean fruitiness, velvety, and a nice, pleasant butteriness to finish it off.
And folks, let me just tell you this. You know, my mother was born in Greece, too, in Tripoli, and so was my grandmother, just like Dinos. And a real authentic salad is tomatoes, cucumbers, feta cheese, a little oregano, and great laconical oil. That's what a salad really is meant to be. Not a whole lot of lettuce.
No, not as much of anything else. Lots of olive oil, because when that gets blended and mixed with the nice tomato juices and salt and onions and all that good stuff and feta, it just pops all the flavors out. That's what real extra virgin olive oil should do. It actually helps enhance all the flavors of what it goes into.
And folks, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking lettuce, but when you try a Greek salad, like Dinos just said, with tomatoes and onions and feta cheese and cucumbers, oregano, salt, pepper, and the great olive oil, really, Dino, that's all you need.
That's all you need. That's considered a Spartan meal. Very simple. A little bit of tomato, feta, and bread, and that's it.
Right.
That is it, and lots of olive oil to keep you all of the joints moving.
And add the olives too, as well.
That's right. Yes.
And you're really, folks, you can eat that every day and live to 200 years old. That is that good. I mean, people in Greece are living that long in the Mediterranean diet. They know what they're talking about.
Yes. Yes, lots of natural raw products, as raw as possible. That's why extra virgin olive oil is so good for the human consumption. Lots of antioxidants, lots of polyphenols, of course, antioxidants that you get through the process of quality extra virgin olive oil.
Tell the public or the locals or the tourists, because we're entering tourist season here in the Virginia Beach area, about getting olive oil. When they go to a grocery store, there has to be a certain protocol, because you can't compare grocery store olive oil, even they've done TV shows, as you and I have talked about in the past, compared to the good freshness of laconic oil. Yes,
it's hard to just judge just by looking at a bottle on any shelf, that is, or anywhere you go. That's why we are strong believers in tasting prior to buying, so that the customer is always able to taste and see why, one, it tastes so different than what they're used to, because as different studies have shown, the majority of the oils, by the time it reaches the customer's hands, it either has gone rancid, or it was not quality extra virgin olive oil to begin with. So the majority, I have to say, is very hard to judge and just know that what you're getting, just by looking at what you're looking, you're getting hopefully what you're hoping that you're getting. So the best thing, like I said, is just as much as possible taste. That allows you to get yourself familiar with what real extra virgin olive oil should taste, and all the different varietals, because just like there's our family's award-winning Greek extra virgin olive oil, there's great Italian, Spanish, so you're able to find them everywhere, but it's just getting to find them is a little more of the challenge.
Right, Volks, you have a chance in person. Like a lot of our listeners have gone by to see Dinos at the Norfolk Greek Festival, the Newport News Greek Festival. He'll be at both festivals coming up in less than 60 days, Norfolk first, Newport News, and you have a chance right there to interact with the public.
Yes, we're excited. We want to see everybody, and we want to share our product with everyone, because, like I said, the first thing that everybody says, at least that has never had our family's production, they're like, why does it taste so different? And from then on, it changes their lives, and it makes us happy that we were able to share something very special to us and dear to us with everyone.
Yep, life is about food and beverages and health and good family. That's what the whole opa, the Greek saying goes, the ketochrono and all that stuff too. Leave us with how people can get a hold of you, social media, website.
Yes, you're able to like us on Facebook, of course. You're able to find little recipe ideas under the notes section. You can order online under www.laconico.com, LACONIKO. You can, of course, call us if there's any questions that anybody has, or if they have time by appointment, they can even visit us here at our warehouse in Northern Virginia, where we import and distribute everything. We can do a nice little showroom presentation and have them taste all the products that we provide and carry.
Great stuff. You can see his link also on Hampton Roads, onlinemall.com. Dinos, all the best to you. We will see you at the Norfolk Greek Festival in May. Then we'll interview you again prior to the Newport News Greek Festival.
Thank you so much, Greg. Opa, namaste uli kala, and I hope to see everybody.
Yep, ketochrono.
Ketochrono. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Dinos Pierrakos there, and Joe Daniel, that's really, you talk about festivals that time of the year, and really that's where a lot of families bond, good food, fellowship. You just went overseas. It's good to experience different cultures.
Absolutely, yeah. You never know what you're missing. We just, I came back from Germany and England, and you're 100% right. One of the biggest things that I was excited for was just trying authentic German food, authentic English food. Because once you have and experience their food, you experience much of their culture and what they value.
Right. I've been to Europe 3 times. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I can see why you didn't want to come back.
Yes. It was very fun, a lot of fun, and just great people, meeting different cultures and meeting different people. Really great experience.
Good to get away. Our good friends at Craft 17, go by and see Jamie and the great staff at 1706 Mediterranean Avenue in Virginia Beach. Great appetizers, Wagyu burgers, excellent toppings, Carolina snap dogs, chicken sandwiches, salads, vegan burgers, house-cut fries, beer-battered onion rings. Excellent place. All the locals and tourists go to Craft 17. Get some delicious food. Kick back with your friends at Craft 17. Like them on Facebook.
What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
All right, now let's get to What Teased Me Off, one of our favorite segments. Joe Daniel, people who say they got it, and in reality, they don't have it.
Yeah, say what you mean. If you don't have it, ask questions. A lot of people don't want to ask questions, or they don't want to appear to be dumb or not understanding something, but it's way better to get clarification than just to be guessing and then ending up getting it wrong in the end.
And just say you have it under control. Did anything tee you off in Europe? Airplane rides, anything, the seats?
Probably the bus ride or the van ride. We were all packed into like 3 different vans with all of our luggage and stuff. That was probably the worst spot. The plane ride was fine, smooth sailing, but the van ride, that was the worst. It was bumpy, it was close quarters with people, and it was for like 4 hours because we flew out of Dallas, and so that drive up to Dallas was just not fun.
2 words: personal hygiene.
Yes.
Yes. How about this? When you and I text something like, hey, the show's uploaded or whatever, you and your wife text, grocery shopping, I'll be home at 5 o'clock. But those people that do relentless text messages that will say, what else? Something new. This is teeing me off. This is bothering me. They just won't stop with that text message. That's when it becomes a little borderline manic.
Yes, yeah. And conversations over text, if it takes a long time, if it takes longer than like 3, maybe 4 text messages to get your point across, or this back and forth dialogue, just call. It's a much easier just to do a quick 30-second phone call. Hey, here's what's going on. And that way you're able to understand the other person and read the other person and hear their voice, as opposed to just reading an arbitrary words, or text message and there being confusion.
Texting is not verbal speaking. It's not meant to write a novel or be an author.
Right. Exactly.
All right. What else teased me off? All right. We talked about this whole thing during Lent and Easter about communion. I'm not a fan of sharing spoons. I made it very clear. I don't care. But the whole point of Communion Weekly is a fasting of the mind and the body to take communion, no matter what religion you are. People that do it weekly, it's not a routine. It's not going to the 7-Eleven. It's a sacrifice. If you're taking it just to be taking it without any thought or deed behind it, it's not to the point.
Correct. And Jesus himself said it, do this in remembrance of me. If you're just doing it just because you've always done it or everybody else around you is doing it, exactly what you said, you're missing the whole point of it. The whole point to do it is in remembrance of Jesus and what he did in sacrificing himself.
Yeah, cleanse your mind, body, and spirit. We're given basically a baptism every day of our lives as well, folks. All right, what else teased me off? Sprouts, the veggie. I cannot stand sprouts. The worst vegetable next to Brussels sprouts I've ever had.
Yeah, they're sometimes good. I mean, they're sometimes needed for some stuff. There's a great Vietnamese dish called pho, and you put sprouts in there. You have your noodles, you have your meat, and all the other stuff that goes inside, but sprouts is another major component of that. And for me, that's the only time I'll ever have sprouts. I don't put it in salads, but the only time that I have sprouts is when I'm eating that Vietnamese soup pho.
I will only eat sprouts if I'm starving, and I'll have to put a lot of salt and pepper on it. All right, another thing that teased me off finally is yodeling. Really? Yodeling?
There's that famous kid. Is that what it was? There's that famous kid who was yodeling in Walmart, yeah. And then he was on Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know. I think it's a long-lost art. I enjoy actually listening to it. Like a good country song that has a yodel in it. I think that's fun.
Yeah, it might be, but you can't hear that. You have to hear that in moderation, though.
Yes, yeah. I don't think I'd listen to a 45-minute CD of yodeling or anything, but certain songs, I think it's fun.
And to make you laugh, you're not listening for 12 hours going to Europe either. As
right,
well.
No.
You would be insane by the time you got to Germany. All right, thank you so much. That is What Teased Me Off. Want to thank our great guest today. Don't forget, folks, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link where you can see the interview from the Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament. Great audio and video, commercials, sports scene, and much more. gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. Tell your friends. At Greg Bick on Twitter. Interact with me 24/7. Ask any questions at GREGBIC on Twitter. I want to thank our great guest today, Kevin Grevey Dinos Pierrakos. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. We'll talk to you soon.